it. Let's do it.
Do it.
Bubba Gump against Brutal, big game. And then also some happenings going on in Week 10, obviously, other than the hangout that's going on. As I mentioned last week, the Dynasty board members, after the hangout, we will be going to the Rockdalian Senators game against the Soul Globe over in Rockdale. That's the Sunday night game. So that should be fun, I guess, even though we have to go to Rockdale.
Yeah, that always sucks.
Our well-being might be, in question. But, okay, Bob.
Hey, I have a quick question.
Oh, sure.
At the Dynasty Midseason Hangout at Jillian's, what time do you think you'll be arriving?
I'm personally, I have some husband, father obligations in the morning, yeah. So I'm maybe not as early as I'd like, but probably going to be there by 12:30.
Okay.
So I would think maybe 12:45, 12:40, somewhere around there, for people to start coming.
Yeah, I'm trying to get an idea.
Yeah.
When I should arrive.
Well, if you're not familiar with the area, bring a GPS, Brandon.
Now it is time. Fucking right, it's time. So grab your balls and let's go. Coach's interview. Here we fucking go.
Bub has turned his dildo on to vibrate because on the Tom Berkowitz Trucking hotline, we have the Dynasty Road Trip Advisor. He is the Dynasty Event Coordinator. He was the Dynasty IX champion. He once tried to impregnate the Dynasty Championship trophy. He's the biggest Boston Bruins fan that I know. He is the son of my 5th grade homeroom teacher, Mrs. Tavaleri. Nice woman. He is coach of the 5-4 Soul Glow. He is Coach Brian Tavaleri. Coach, thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me. What the hell is that music? I couldn't make it out.
That was the Soul Glow music from I think Coming to America.
Oh, I appreciate that. That's nice. I like that you had that.
Hopefully it came in better through the show. Maybe you couldn't hear it so good through the phone. But if you folks at home could not hear it, that's what was playing. Coach, thank you again for being on the show. Before we get into where we are now... What?
Before we get into where we are now? That doesn't make sense.
Before we start talking about, what's happening now in the season.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant, literally, where we are now.
Swear to God, if you interrupt me again. Okay, let's get back to draft day, Brian. Okay. No, not you. We're talking to Brian. Nobody cares about you, Bob. You had a shitload of early picks, and you only had a 6% chance of getting your ass nerfed. One thing led to another. There was money missing off the counter, and you ended up getting yourself nerfed for the first time in Dynasty history when you violated the goddamn guard dog ADD rule when you redrafted Tony Romo. Who the hell would want Tony Romo in the first place? I don't know. I certainly have had my time with Romo, and it did not pan out well. Anyway, additionally, you were the innocent victim of 3 unnecessary nerfings. Some say Bub was to blame.
I probably was.
Some say Coach Brandon was to blame. Brandon has denied even being at the draft. Let's see. Our ethics manager, Coach DeYoung, is investigating the matter. Coach, what do you have to say about this?
Well, first of all, I'd like to point out that my redrafting of Tony Romo was actually exactly what the guard has did in the past. I drafted Tony Romo right next to Tony Romo, which he did with Nick Folk back in fucking whatever that was, 3 years ago, which was probably one of the most embarrassing moments draft-wise of my life. It was really sad, and when I saw what I did, I really... Anything that ties you to the guards is bad. It's bad. You should never be tied to the guards. As far as Brandon, that fucker, I still hold a lot of resentment to him for his nerfings. I don't really blame Bob. Bob kind of lost his mind with the Sean Green thing, but I get it. Sean Green is a difficult name to spell, and Bob can't spell in the first place, so let's be honest. But Brandon was the one who caused all the problems. I think he was responsible for at least 6 unnecessary nerfings that day, myself being one of them, but definitely there were others that were affected by it.
Thanks for sticking up for me, Brian.
You're welcome, Bub. You know I love you.
Yeah. big surprise.
Anyway, let's get back to the time. So, Coach, you've you made some trades this season. One that comes back into mind was the Mendenhall for the 5th. Might not be looking so great because of the injury. Is there anything that you would do differently looking back on it? Maybe target a different player, or maybe not pull the trigger on one of those trades?
I'm embarrassed by my trading this year. I really am. I think I've really overpaid for a lot of the players that I got. The only trade that's semi-decent is the Malcolm Floyd for Sidney Rice, but even Sidney Rice has turned it on the last 2 weeks. So kind of making me look a little foolish, but I was explaining this to you off the call, brother, or not before, or email, whatever. And I just think that the trade market this year has been really tough. And you guys know I'm a pretty active trader in the trade market. I've always made moves every year, whether I'm a seller or a buyer. I've always made moves, and I feel like I always get semi-decent returns, but I feel like this year I've totally been fucked. Just completely boned.
Fair enough.
Shit happens, right? But I agree. You are definitely one of the bigger coaches in the league when it comes to activity regarding trades. Now, Coach, you were the favorite coming into the season as the Dynasty odds makers predicted you to finish 13-2. Hefty expectations. You got to be happy with some of your players, maybe like V-Jax, who is the 3rd-ranked wide receiver right now, and maybe a little disappointed with other guys like Matthew Stafford. You also have had the 2nd hardest schedule thus far. Before the season started, if someone told you that after 9 games you'd be 5-4, would you be happy with that? Would you be content with that? Not happy? What would you say to that person?
I would say, fuck you, you don't know me. But in all seriousness, I actually, I'm not really shocked, because we all know that anything can happen when it comes to fantasy football, and we got fuckers like Brandon who fucking somehow scored the fucking least amount of points I've ever seen. Besides, that's why he's really the new guards. And I'm gonna just let everybody know that right now. Brandon is the new guards. Just lucky motherfuckers don't have any idea what they're doing, and they just fucking luck in the wins left and right. And I'm glad to see that his team is struggling. I'm really, really happy to see his team is struggling. So I'm not shocked by it. I wish that I was. I think that I could be 7-2 with a couple of bounces going my way. I had that one matchup with you, Scoops, where I put up 122, but you put up 133 or whatever it was.
Right.
And just bad luck. So what are you gonna do? But I think I could have a better record than what I have now. But you know what? I'm happy with the way my team's played the last 3 weeks. So.
Fair enough. Yeah, you definitely on a little run here, Coach. Looking at the overall picture, I think you sit tied for 3rd in the division. You're one of maybe 5 or 6 teams that have a shot at the playoffs here. If you had to pick a number here, percent-wise, what would you say your chances of making the playoffs would be?
I'd say about a 70% chance. I have some tough matchups. I have you, Bubs, again. I have VIP on Swole coming up too. So I have some tough ones, and then even the ones that I guess you could consider easy matchups, they're not pushovers. And I have still have Matt to play again. I have Will this week to play. So anything can happen, But I feel pretty confident I can pull out a pretty decent amount of wins, and I think 10-5 is the number you got to look at this point for me. If I can get to 10-5, I'll be happy.
I like the confidence. I, for one, don't want to see in the playoffs because I think you have a good team. But enough kissing your ass, Coach, and we'll talk about Will a little bit later. You mentioned Will, but your team was featured on HBO's Hard Knocks this preseason. How do you think that's affected your season, if at all?
Well, I think it really distracted a lot of my players. We saw Chris Johnson get off to a slow start. They had that unfortunate incident with me where I was quoted about wanting a fucking snack, and that was played over and over again, and we love my fucking snacks, but it doesn't have to be, broadcasted that way, and I think I took a knock in the league for that. So I think it's a little, it's been a little embarrassing for us, but